the desert man who discovered treasures in the pyramid. Out in the deep, burnt-up stretches of the Sahara, where the sun stays smacking folks like it got a personal vendetta, and the sand be whispering everybody's business, folks used to talk about a man they ain't even got a name for. They just called him the Desert Man. Not sir, not mister, not brother, just Desert Man, like even his real name got dehydrated and blew away in the wind. Man came out of nowhere one morning, strutting out the heat haze like he owned the whole damn horizon. Coat long, dusty, flapping behind him like it had a heartbeat, scarf up to his nose, eyes sharp, tied and mean like he'd seen too much and ain't impressed by none of it. People in the little sand town kind of froze up watching him walk through. Kids stopped kicking they ball, old men lifted their heads like, now who this fool? Women peeked through curtains like the sun brought them a new problem to pray about. But Desert Man ain't care about none of that. He walked straight into Miss Dunya's tea house, place always smelling like mint, dust, and attitude. She was behind the counter, arms crossed, eyebrow raised like she could smell trouble before it even opened the door. She looked him up and down slow. Let me guess, you looking for somebody or you running from somebody? Desert Man pulled his scarf down just enough to talk. Nah, I'm looking for something bigger than both. Miss Dunya snorted. Baby, out here the only thing bigger is the sun trying to cook you alive. He leaned in a little. I'm looking for the pyramid of Hazar. The whole room got quiet real disrespectfully fast. Even the spoon one dude was stirring with stopped clinking. Folks whispered, now he wild. He's suicidal or stupid. That pyramid cursed, boy. Miss Dunya sighed heavy like her back hurt from holding all that wisdom. Sweetheart, you don't want to play with that place. People go in there and don't come out. And if they do come out, they come out wrong. Desert Man slid a small leather pouch across the table. It clinked. Miss Dunya opened it, and her eyes damn near jumped out a skull. Real gold, old gold, the type of gold that ain't got no business being in anyone's pocket. I just need directions, he said real calm. She stared at him. You know money don't save nobody from old spirits, right? Didn't plan on needing saving. The next morning, before dawn even wiped the crust out its eyes, Desert Man was out, walking into that never-ending ocean of sand. Heat waves danced around him like ghosts. Wind hissed secrets by his ears. But he pushed on, step after step, like he'd done this walk about 100 lifetimes already. Hours later, he saw it. The pyramid of Hazar. Tall, cracked, leaning like it ain't slept in 5,000 years. Shadows pooled around it like they was scared to leave. The air felt wrong, too cold, too still, like the desert itself ain't want to claim this place. Desert Man stood there, hands on his hips, staring up at that ancient monster of stone. All right, he muttered, let's see what you got hiding. He lit his torch and stepped inside. Instant cold slapped him in the chest. Walls breathed old dust, ceiling dripped something that wasn't water, and the carvings, man, they was glowing real faint, like the ancient folks left the lights on just for him. Then boom, the stone door behind him slammed shut. Darkness swallowed the room whole. He exhaled slow. 50-50 chance you trying to kill me or welcome me. But then he saw it. A message carved into the wall. Not ancient script, not hieroglyphics. English, fresh English, like someone wrote it yesterday. Welcome back. Desert Man's torch shook in his hand. Back, he whispered. I ain't never been here. But the pyramid, it hummed low, like it disagreed, like it remembered him.
The Desert Man stood real still, torch flickering soft like it was scared of the dark itself. That welcome back carved into the stone was fresh, too fresh, like the wall got hands and wrote it just to mess with him. He reached out, brushed his fingers over the letters. Dust fell off like dandruff. The groove was warm, warm stone in a cold pyramid. That ain't normal, ain't natural. ain't friendly. He backed up slow, eyes narrowing. All right, who in here know my name or think they do? His voice echoed like it had somewhere else to be, bouncing down the halls like a rubber ball. And then the hall whispered back, not words, just breath, long, slow breath like something old was waking up and stretching. Desert Man tightened his scarf around his face. He ain't scared, but he ain't stupid either. Okay then, you playing games? I can play too. He moved deeper into the pyramid, boots crunching over sand, bones, and things he ain't want to identify. The torchlight hit carvings on the walls, figures kneeling, figures running, figures being swallowed up by something that didn't look human, didn't look animal, didn't look right at all. The path split 3 ways, left, dark as a shut eyelid, right, glowing, faint, red like low coals, straight, wind blowing out of it, whispering like a woman calling his name. "Oh, hell no, I ain't answering nobody's wind girlfriend," he muttered, and turned right. Red light meant danger, but also meant something alive, something real, maybe even something valuable. The room he stepped into was shaped like a giant bowl flipped upside down, ceiling high enough to fit a whole basketball hoop in the bleachers too. At the center sat a stone coffin big enough to hold a king and 2 of his regrets. Red cracks seeped from cracks along the floor like the earth was blushing. Desert Man walked slow, careful, weighing every step like it owed him money. He put his torch close to the cracks and saw something moving in the red light. Sand? No. Liquid, thick, dark, moving backwards like time was flowing in reverse. He jerked his hand back. Nah, see, that's how horror movies start. But before he could step away, something tapped the back of his boot. Tap. Not hard, just enough to say, "Sup." He spun around fast, torch raised like a weapon. Nothing. Only sand. More sand. Always sand. Then tap again, on the other foot this time. He lowered the torch to the ground. Then he froze. A sand hand, yes, a hand made of actual sand grains, was crawling up his boot like a baby spider trying to give him a high five. Fingers wiggling, wrist twisting, whole thing moving like it had attitude. Desert Man stomped it out, hard. Nope, we ain't doing that today. But as soon as he crushed it, the sand behind him rose, slow, steady, like a person standing up after a long nap. He turned. A whole sand figure, tall as him, shaped like a man but kinda glitching around the edges. Face smooth, no eyes, no mouth, just sand holding itself together with pure ancient disrespect. Oh hell, y'all really built like this in here. The figure rushed him, no sound, no breath, just movement. Desert Man dodged left, torch swinging wide. Fire brushed the creature's shoulder, and it hissed like water hitting a skillet. Part of its arm turned to dust and crumbled. Aha, so you don't like heat, huh? Should have told me, I'd have brought a bigger torch. He swung again. Creature split in half. Both halves fell, then slithered across the floor like snakes and started rebuilding themselves. Okay, y'all extra. He backed toward the coffin. The red cracks pulsed faster, louder. The lid shifted, just a little, but enough to make his heart jump. Sand creatures kept coming, rebuilding, reaching for him with grabby little claws made of misery. Desert Man planted his feet, torch raised, jaws set stubborn. "If I'm back," he growled, "then whoever welcome me better show up."
And then the coffin lid slid a whole foot to the side. A voice, deep, ancient, echoing like 10 drums hitting at once, rumbled from inside. "You took long enough." The sand creatures stopped moving. Even the red cracks paused mid-glow. Desert Man swallowed slow. "All right, now who the hell are you?" Man, Malik and Tariq stood there frozen like statues baked in the desert sun. That glow inside the chamber got brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat, and Malik whispered, "Ayo, this thing alive or something?" Tariq shrugged, but you could tell even his tough self was shook. Sand whispered across the stone floor, and the torches flickered out like they got scared too. All that was left was that gold light dragging their shadows long across the walls. Malik stepped forward, slow, cautious, like he was tiptoeing past the sleeping lion. The carvings on the walls started moving, I swear. They twisted like they were stretching awake after a long nap. A figure formed, tall, slim, draped in robes that flowed like smoke. Not flesh, not stone, something between. It pointed at Malik like it had been waiting thousands of years just for him. Tariq grabbed his arm. "Nah, bro. We ain't built for no ancient ghost welcome party. We came for treasure, not to wake up somebody's granddaddy from 2000 BC. But Malik, he just breathed deep. "You feel that? This place, it know my name." And the wild thing, the glowing figure nodded like, yeah, it really did. The chamber trembled. Sand rained from the ceiling. A deep hum rolled through the pyramid like a giant clearing its throat. Then the gold glow shot straight into the next room, lighting up a hidden passage they hadn't even seen. And when that tunnel opened, boy, it felt like the whole world inhaled. The smell changed first. Not dust, not old stone. Something clean, something sweet, like palm sugar and old incense. The walls were carved with stories, kings, queens, wars, skies full of stars. But in the center of the room was the real heart-stopper, a throne. Not an ordinary one either. Solid gold, shaped like wings stretching upward. Gems the color of ocean water laid into the armrests. And sitting on the seat, a mask. Jet black, polished, carved sharp like it could see right through a man's soul. Tariq whispered, "Malik, don't touch that." But of course, Malik stepped right up to it. He didn't grab it immediately. He just stared. The mask looked back, almost alive, shadows shimmering across it like it was breathing. Then Malik lifted his hand, and the whole room gasped in this huge gust of wind. The torches flared, the carvings glowed, and Malik placed his fingers on the mask. Boom! A shockwave blasted through the room. Tariq got thrown back against the wall. Malik didn't fall, though. He stood locked in place as the black mask melted into smoke and slid right onto his face like it belonged there. His arms dropped, his body stiffened, and then he spoke. But it wasn't his voice now. It was deeper, older, like three voices talking through him at once. "I have waited for the one who walks between worlds, the bearer of sand and spirit, the child of the wandering winds." Tariq scrambled up. "Bro, you gotta stop. Take it off. Take it, whatever it is, take it off." But Malik, he just breathed deep. His eyes glowed bright gold through the mask's slits. Sand started swirling around his feet like he was the center of a little desert storm. Then the voice said, "The treasure you seek is not gold." The ground cracked. The walls shook. Sand poured from the ceiling like waterfalls. Tariq ran to him, tried pulling him back, but a wave of wind slammed him away as if the pyramid itself said, "Back up." Malik floated, actually floated off the ground, cloak of sand spinning around him like he was being rebuilt. Then, silence. The glowing stopped. The wind died. Malik dropped to the floor, breathing hard. The mask faded off his face, falling as a thin dust on the golden throne. He opened his eyes, and Tariq whispered, terrified and amazed all at once, "Bro, what did you just become?"
Malik didn't answer right away. He sat there breezing like he'd just sprinted across the whole desert barefoot. Sweat dripped down his forehead, but his eyes weren't the same. They glowed soft gold, like he still had a piece of that ancient light burning inside him.
Tariq backed up a little, hands raised like he was trying not to wake a wild animal. Hey, Malik, you still you, right? 'Cause if you start floating again, I'm out. I'll run straight back to Cairo. No shoes, no water, I swear. Malik slowly pushed himself to his feet. I'm fine, I think. But his voice carried a bass it didn't have before, like there was someone else humming inside his chest. The pyramid rumbled again, low, shaky, like it was shifting its weight. The throne melted back into the shadows, and the carvings on the walls rearranged themselves, forming a new path out of the chamber. A narrow hallway lit up with soft blue flame torches that weren't even real fire, just floating light, dancing like it was alive. Tariq frowned. I knew this trip was a bad idea, but no, you said, let's go chase treasure, Tariq. It'll be easy, Tariq. Bro, this ain't treasure, this is spiritual drama. Malik smirked, but the smirk wasn't all his. It felt heavier, older. Come on, something wants us to follow. That's exactly what I'm worried about, Tariq hissed, but he followed anyway, mumbling prayers under his breath. They walked deeper into the pyramid, past rooms that felt like they belonged in another world. One room had floating stones that hummed like tuning forks. Another had mirrors that didn't show reflections, just flashes of memories that weren't theirs. A war, a coronation, a desert storm swallowing an army whole, a king wearing the same black mask Malik had touched. Each step made the air thicker, hotter. The deeper they walked, the more Malik moved like he recognized everything. He'd pause, tilt his head, whisper translations of symbols he shouldn't have understood. Tariq noticed. Bruh, you speak in ancient Egyptian now? You barely passed Arabic in school. Malik shrugged. It's like the knowledge is just there. Eventually, they reached the heart of the pyramid, a massive circular chamber with a ceiling so high it disappeared into darkness. In the center stood a giant stone tablet cracked down the middle, and sitting inside that crack was a glowing crystal, bright as a star. Malik approached it slowly. The air around the crystal shimmered like heat waves. Tariq grabbed his shirt. Don't touch that. Please don't touch that. Last time you touched something, you got possessed by King Pharaoh Ghost number 22. Malik didn't listen. He stretched his hand out, palms shaking, not from fear, but connection, like the crystal was calling him by name. The moment his fingers brushed it, the chamber roared to life. Wind whipped around them in a spiral. The walls glowed with moving images, cities rising, deserts swallowing kingdoms, a masked king leading his people with fire in his hands. The wind pushed Tariq down, but Malik stood tall, back straight, eyes blazing gold. The mask's voice returned inside him, layered and booming. You are the chosen vessel, the last descendant of the desert's hidden line. With this crystal, the legacy awakens. Malik gasped, clutching the crystal as visions punched through him. Battlefields, lost cities buried under dunes, ancient knowledge sealed away for centuries. Tariq yelled over the wind, "Bro, drop the magic rock!" But Malik couldn't. The crystal shot through his body like lightning, and the whole pyramid shook. Sand poured from cracks, as if the temple itself was shedding its skin. Then, boom! A shockwave blasted out, a ring of blinding golden light tearing through the chamber and racing down every corridor until the entire pyramid pulsed like a beating heart. And then, silence again. The light faded. The wind died down. Tariq coughed, waving dust away, then squinted at Malik. He was standing still, too still. The crystal floated above his palm, and Malik's eyes were no longer gold. They were glowing pure white. Tariq whispered, voice trembling, "Malik, what did that thing turn you into now?"